Today we have ToA invocation tier list. Now this is my humble, professional opinion. This is not legal advice. Okay, it's unsolicited, but it is professional. I have a lot of experience in this raid, but I also have a lot of experience with just being smarter than most players when it comes to the game. So when you hear me say something and it goes on the tier list, you know that it is the truth. It is the correct answer. There is no debating it. There's no changing it. It doesn't matter. Okay? And these are the invocations. If the chat is in the way on the screen, I apologize, but we'll pull them out and read them anyway so you'll know what we're talking about. And we're going to start off with the death invocations because they're easy to do, right? We have tryhard. We have persistence, softcore run, and hardcore run. Let's do all four of these right away. Okay, straight off the back. I think tryhard. Now this one is where you have 10 lives. 10 lives. Tryhard is I'm going to say it's pretty F tier invocation. This is an almost completely useless invocation that you're never going to use. Right behind me in F tier. It's worth 5 points. It's 10 lives. And to be honest, if you're dying 10 times, you may as well not have the invocation on at all. Completely useless invocation. Can't imagine anyone using it. I believe the same really goes for persistence. I think persistence belongs in F tier behind me. Because 5 lives is also too many. For 10 points, it's kind of dog shit. It's absolutely useless. So, you have to not play cards or donate or any of that shit while I'm doing tier list because you're not important, Toby, right? So fuck off. I think persistence and trying again are just, they're shit. Try again, persistence, they're crap. Softcore run is an A tier invocation. This is a very user-friendly invocation. This is one of the best invocations. I believe it is the best of the lot because softcore run allows you to gain, I believe, 15 invocation points, 15 points, 3 lives. Perfect balance because if you die twice, that's your cue to leave the raid and you don't have to pay a fee. This is the money saver raid. Money maker and a money saver. You don't have to pay to leave the raid. You save yourself 500k or you save yourself 250k if you're an Iron Man. A tier invocation because it gives you lives and you can get away without wiping. Which obviously, where's hardcore gonna go? I'll tell you where hardcore's gonna go. Hardcore's gonna go B tier. Now the reason hardcore's B tier is obvious, right? It's more points than softcore run. Sure, it's 25 points, an extra 10 points. But if you die with hardcore run, you're fucked. If you guys wipe, that's it. And it happens. Doesn't matter how good you are in the game, doesn't matter what happens. I tell you what, the login servers are about to go down. People are gonna get logged out. Alright? If you're on hardcore run, you're wiping. If you're on softcore, you're not wiping. It's that simple. Hardcore run is not as good as softcore run. It is a B tier invocation. Next, we're gonna move on to the spirit ones, I believe they're called. Need some help, no help needed, and need less help, I believe. So, is that the correct order? It is. So, 15, 25, and 40 invocation points. These basically reduce the amount of resources the spirit gives you. I haven't really dabbled too much with no help needed at all, but just by reading it, where it says that the quantity of items offered by the helpful spirit is reduced to 10%, basically means that you're getting 1 salt or you're getting 1 ambrosia and nothing else, is a pretty horseshit thing to have in the raid. For 40 invocation points. I haven't done the math. I'm not sure if that's used for 500 raids. It probably doesn't matter with a yellow Keras, so it might actually be a free 40 points. I would say this goes in C tier because I'm not entirely sure. I've not dabbled with it. Even when I've done like 450 runs, we've not even used no help needed. Iris is working again. I haven't been logged out at all. No help needed to use 500. It is? Okay, well, it's going to go C tier because who's running 500s? The majority of people are not. Then you've got need less help. I don't like need less help at all. Need less help is shit. This is a terrible invocation. This is an E tier invocation because it gives you 25 points, which is only 10 more than need some help. And all it's doing is just making everything worse for you in the raid. You can almost skip this completely because you're just going to go from need some help to need less help. To no help needed at all. Can you put everything on? Not entirely. No, you can't put all 3 on. No. Can we? Yes, enter. Thank you. Need some help. I have a love-hate relationship with Need Some Help. Because Need Some Help, for me, I have used Need Some Help and it's been great because it's really not made a difference. But then I've used Need Some Help and back to back to back to back, there's been no adrenaline, or there's been no salt, or there's been no ambrosia, or one ambrosia when you're in a team. And it can really fuck a raid, or it can really just change the tide of a raid very quickly. And all that for 15 raid points is terrible, which is why it is also an E tier invocation. Because while it's not a whole lot of resources, when you're on limited gear, we're talking not best in slot. When you're on limited gear, you're running Bofas at 425, 420 invocation raids. Bofas are pretty questionable weapons to be using that late. And you Need Some Help is giving you 1 salt. It's not good enough. Need Less Help is RNG for 2 salts. Need Some Help is RNG for 2 salts, dude. It's crazy. No help needed is 340 with yellow KS. Easy S in my opinion, but your opinion doesn't matter. I'm a noob, never done ToA. Is doable without any guides or easy modes enabled? Nope, but I've got a guide, a brand new guide for the raid coming out tomorrow. So if you hold off till tomorrow, you'll be able to see how it's done and learn everything. Moving on to the next lot, we have Walk the Path. Pathfinder, I believe. Path Seeker. Path Seeker, Pathfinder, and Path Master. Now, I believe Walk the Path is an S tier invocation, and I think we can all agree on that. Walk the Path is one of the best invocations in the raid. Walk the Path, what it does is it levels up. As you do a boss room, every other boss room levels up, or certain other boss rooms level up, right? And it's random, and what it can do is it can change the dynamic of a raid. So not every raid is the same, because what me and the boys will do is we'll do Zebak and Kefri first. And if it doesn't level Kefri, when we do Zebak, it can then make Akka level 2 and Bubba level 1. Or Bubba level 2 and Akka level 1. And it will just determine which way we do the raid. Obviously, you want Bubba to be a high level because it's worth more points. But it's a little thing that I like when we do the raid. Because it kind of just switches up the end game of the raid, how we tackle it. And then we have to determine, how we're going to handle our resources. Do we salt in the Bubba puzzle room? Or do we have the salt from Akka room into the Bubba puzzle room? It's a little nice autism thing that I enjoy, and I think Walk the Path just is excellent for 50 invocation points. It's 50 points. An easy 50 points. Path Seeker, I think, is a B tier invocation. It levels up everything once upon entering the raid. That's great. That's all you need to know. But I think Pathfinder is better at 40. I think Pathfinder is better at 40. 40 invocation points, that's a jump of 25. And it levels everything up twice, which means everything is level 2 when you enter. Which means, especially if you do Zebak first, Zebak is much easier to do at level 2 than it is at level 4 and level 1 when it comes to the speed run at the end of the fight. But I think Pathmaster also goes in A tier because I just like the challenge personally, and I think both Pathfinder and Pathmaster, there's only 10 points between them. Pathmaster does level everything up to level 3. Or is it Pathmaster I've been using instead of Finder? Hold on. Level 3. I do Zebak first, so regardless, these both do the exact same thing to me. They don't actually make a difference on my raids. So I rate them both the same. I think Pathmaster would be better because it's extra points. But Finder and Master, there's no difference between them really. I do Zebak first because I'm not dumb. I think doing Bubba first is the wrong way to do ToA in my opinion. I want to walk the path all the way to your come phase. Okay, you need to not be weird to me in my chat, please. That's not okay. Alright, everyone's favorite invocation. Quiet Prayers. Quiet Prayers, make sure your prayer is 10% less effective. You guys know chip damage? You know how Bubba will hit you for 24 through prayer, regardless of invocation level? Not anymore. Now we're doing 27s through prayer. Even worse than that. Might even be close to 30. I don't know. Quiet Prayers is shit. It gives you 20 invocation points. So because of that, it goes in the E tier list. If it was any less than 20, it would be F tier. Terrible prayer, but you need it for 500s, which is the argument most people are going to give you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be running it at all. It's an absolute dog water prayer invocation, and it just makes the game even worse than it already is. Overly draining. what this does is it makes you use 100% of your special attack. Liquid Adrenaline will make it 50%. No matter what weapon it is, don't need for 500, even better. Even better. Overly draining, yeah, it makes all of your special attacks use 100% unless you have a Liquid Adrenaline, then it's 50%. I think overly draining sucks. I think it is a shit invocation. I'm putting it in E tier. The only reason it's not in F tier is because I will use it on higher invocations. I will. But I do not like it at all. I think it is crap. I think it sucks, and you forget you've got it until you Void Wake a spec. Then you go, shit. Your BGS misses. And then you shit. Now what? You're going to sit there for another 10 minutes waiting for your spec to come back. Jagex needs to chill with the engine changes. This week's been crazy. Who authorizes this? Surely not Ash or Matt K. Clearly. Well, Matt K doesn't work for Jagex. Shit is at the fan. Just calm down, Matt. It's all good. You make fighting the bosses in Sins of the Pub look easy. It's because I'm good at the game. Right, now we've got dehydration. Dehydration is where you cannot drink any potions that restore health. Basically, you can't drink Sarah brews or the brews that come in the raid, the nectar or whatever it's called. Pretty simple once you have the yellow Keras. If you don't have the yellow Keras, you're not going to use this. You're simply not. It's really only used for the end game invocations. You wouldn't use it under like 350. So it's kind of slept on, but it is 30 invocation points, which gives it a B tier ranking because that's a decent amount of points. And honestly, if you have the yellow Keras, you should use it and practice using that. It does suck not having that extra brew just in case if you need to quickly like heal a little bit while you're salted, but once you get a hold of the yellow Keras, you're pretty much swimming through the raid no matter what. Reboot is done? Yes, it is. Guys, reboot is done if you were having trouble logging in. Let me just drop my fish real quick. I'm going to do the time invocations, actually, because I was going to get a little controversial with the time invocations. But we may as well get it out of the way now. Okay, we've got... Let me put them in the correct order. We've got walk for it, which is 40 minutes. You've got jog for it, which is 35 minutes. Run for it, which is 30 minutes. And sprint for it, which is 25 minutes. Now, for those who are unaware... These invocations will add 10, 15, 20, and 25 points for invocation. And if you don't make the time, so you'll get 10 extra points on walk for it. If you go over 40 minutes, this includes between rooms. So entire raid time from when you start your first room until when the wardens die. If you go over 40 minutes, you lose the 10 it gives you and another 10 on top. What's happening to streaming default tomorrow? So, you get 25 invocation points for having a 25-minute raid timer. But if you go over 25 minutes, you lose 50 invocation points. And for that reason, every single time invocation is F tier. They're the dumbest and shittest fucking invocations in the game. There is no arguing it, because if you think the time invocations are free invocation points, you're an idiot. These are terrible invocations all over. I don't care if 40 minutes is free. Guess what? It's not when you've got a 6-man team and 4 people accidentally fall into the Baba pit because Mind the Gap is on, and you wipe the room on the last bit of Baba, or one guy's soloing the rest of it. You waste 5 minutes of your time. Now everyone loses 10 invocation points. Or 20 invocation points. Absolute dog shit invocations. All-time invocations are bad. They shouldn't be in the game. They're useless. It is unnecessary risk for minimal reward. It's 10 invocation points or 15 invocation points that you're risking. It's not worth it. Yes, you can run like a well-oiled machine and run it all day long. But I don't think that... There are way easier points to get out of the raid. 100%. All-time invocations are F tier. They're crap. On a diet. On a diet is good. Once you have Sarah brews, you no longer need on a diet. On a diet, A tier invocation. It's great. Once you have access to Sarah brews, why are you taking food? Fuck it off. You don't need it. You don't do it in any other raid. Who cares? Deadly Prayers. Deadly Prayers is S tier. Everyone loves Deadly Prayers. This is the newest invocation. This wasn't on release. On release, there was Quiet Prayers, and then Deadly Prayers was 25% less effective overhead prayers, and no one used it at all. Deadly Prayers is a relatively free invocation because you still get hit through prayer, but basically what it does is any damage that you take, 20% of that is drained from your prayer, which means almost nothing for the entirety of Zebak, as long as you don't get hit off prey. Means nothing in Kefri if you don't get hit off prey. Means almost nothing in Akka. And it means a little bit in Bubba. That's about it. Deadly Praise is a free 30 points. No, it's not, sorry. 20 points. Absolute free 20 points. You should always use Deadly Praise. Without question. Still keep it off for the bandages. For Honor Diet, yeah, because you're a coward. Turn Honor Diet off instantly. Honor Diet is, where's Honor Diet? How many invocation points is that? It's 15 points. Turn it off. You don't need the silk dressings or the honey locusts. Turn it off. Alright? Now we're going to move on to the demi-bosses, okay? Starting off with Kefri. Medic. Blowing Mud. More Overlords. Lively Larvae. Aerial Assault. Okay. In Invocation level order, you have Lively Larvae giving 5. You have Blowing Mud giving 10. Aerial Assault giving 10. More Overlords giving 15. And Medic giving 15. Okay? Lively Larvae basically just gives you more dark brown eggs. When the egg phase comes up in Kefri, you kill the dark brown eggs. Lively Larvae does almost nothing, gives you 5 points. This is a B tier invocation. It's B tier because it's 5 points. Everything else about it is great. It just gives fuck all points. You turn it on no matter what. It's easy as hell, okay? Kiss you on the path, I like it so far. You got this? What do you mean, what path? Now you've got Blowing Mud. Blowing Mud increases the number of players targeted by the poo-poo in Kefri. You know when he pushes you to the wall and it puts poo-poo on the floor? This does absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing in solos. In solos, it means nothing. It's 3 points. What happens when you don't kill the eggs? So the big brown eggs from Kefri, the big brown eggs spawn those little guys. I kill them because I think it's a waste of prey having them alive. It takes no time to kill them. Leave the little eggs, fuck them, but the big brown eggs, just kill them. Blowing Mud, F tier in 8-man, S tier in solo. I don't know, really, to be honest. I would say I was going to put Blowing Mud in A tier, if I'm honest. Because while in 8-man it might be fucked, at the same time, if you know how to stack poo-poo, you shouldn't really have a problem. You just have to keep on top of it. And it's a free 10 points, especially in a solo, which kind of makes it one of the best invocations, right? Because you can solo it and it's points for nothing. Next you have Aerial Assault. Aerial Assault is a D tier invocation, our first D tier of the day. The reason is because the only time Aerial Assault should be on is if you're running for the Kefri pet at 450 invocation, or if you're trying to do a 500. Otherwise, Aerial Assault should not be on at all. It is a crap invocation. It gives you 10 points, and it is a waste of time. It is a waste of pressure. It is a waste of stamina, and I don't really have time to focus that much. I spurg out and like to click around and do my own little wiggy wagga wabba thing, you know, where I just click. And Aerial Assault is shit. I have to actually pay attention. Don't want to do that. And also, you can overheal Karis on the extra. Yes, you can. More Overlords is a B tier invocation because it is 15 points, and the Overlords are pretty piss weak. You can trap the Melia, so it completely makes the Melia void of any sort of challenge immediately, and the Ranger isn't that difficult to handle. There's only one Major for the entire fight, so why aren't you using more Overlords? Anyone that doesn't like more Overlords is a pussy. It takes zero fucking effort to do more Overlords. And then you got Medic. Medic, if you stack poo correctly, which basically what you do is when you're in the Kefri room, you got a square, alright? And so it's in, I explained it in my guide, but let me explain it to you quickly, alright? Here's a square. Can I like rasterize this? Okay. How was no layer selected? Are you kidding? Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? Let's not worry about it. Okay, but basically what's going to happen is you're in Kefri. You stack your 2 poos up the top to block the Melia. What you do first is you stack poo up the middle and one next to the Major instead. And that actually blocks a strand of Medic that comes through along with all the other poo that you end up stacking, making this invocation a little bit easier. However, the only time you turn this invocation on is when you're looking to get the pet or the transmog, which means it is an F tier invocation. Fuck Medic. Anyone that does medic for fun is a dickhead. Now you've got Kondus, Zebak room, the fun room, everyone's favorite boss. You have blood thinners. Blood thinners. Then we have arterial spray. Not just the head. And upset stomach. 4 invocations for this very simple boss. Yes, Sandler, always live. Can't you Dinny B them? Why would you Dinny B them? It's a waste of time. Like, you're bringing a Dinny B. Oh, but for the eggs. Or for the swarms. What are you doing? Who are you trying to impress? It's like wave skipping in Zebak. The only reason you wave skip is to show off. And then fail. And then fuck up the raid for everyone. Because you're like, oh, wave skipping. There's no need to do it. There's no one looks at it and just goes, I'm going to think about you tonight when I'm in bed. No, absolutely not. What's up, Bibto? How you doing? So, blood thinners. Blood thinners is where the 3 blood clouds come out instead of one big fat one. Okay? For 5 invocation points, instead of one big fat boy, it's 3. Makes no difference in a solo. In groups, it's also kind of useless because they die at the exact same rate. So, it's 5 points for absolutely no reason. So we're gonna put it in B tier because it is pretty simple. But the problem with this this invocation is you must have not just a head online as well. Not just a head is also B tier because all it does is it adds a blood burst, blood barrage, which in most cases you can pray against accurately, 100%. So not just a head just gives Zebak blood magic, which is blood barrage on you and your team, and it's not that difficult to deal with, to be honest. Then you've got arterial spray. What does that do? Okay, it just increases the range and healing of the blood magic. Well, that doesn't do anything because you just pray against it. What a fucking way. Okay, that's A tier as fuck. Fuck yeah. Arterial spray. If you're putting not just a head on, you got to put arterial spray on for sure. You just pray against it. It does absolutely nothing. Thank you, Sand. I appreciate it, man. And now we've got Unset Stomach. The most RNG invocation in the raid. Because Unset Stomach, for the most part, is pretty easy. But it reduces the size of the jug's water spray and increases the amount of acid on the playing field. Sometimes you just get fucked. This is a D tier invocation. Because you don't need it on unless you're running higher level invocation raids. It is unnecessary pressure, unnecessary RNG, unnecessary stress for no reason. It's absolutely not worth enabling, in my opinion, unless you're going for higher invocations or you're going for the transmog. 100%. Now everyone's favorite room, Akka, where we have, what do we have? Keep back. Then we have Stay Vigilant. Double Trouble. Feeling Special. This boss is a bit of a cunt. Keep back. Basically, no matter what Akka does, he's always meleeing. Range attacks, also melee. Mage attacks, also melee. This can be completely avoided by butterflying. Are you butterflying? Not likely, because you're shit. That's for the most part, the truth. Everywhere else in the game, or in the room, keep back. If you're in a team, and you end up getting hit with the white or the black specs, you could fuck each other pretty hard. Keep back is pretty shit, and has no place in this game unless you're going for the transmog. It is an E tier. In fact, you know what? It's F tier. It's an F tier invocation. Because at the end of the day, it's only 10 points. There is almost no reward except when you're going for the transmog. Keep back is shit. That's why you do it when you're solo. You don't do it when you're in a team, because you'll just fuck your teammates. Next we have Staying Vigilant, which is Akka will randomly swap attack styles and protection prayers rather than set intervals for 15 invocation points. I honestly think this is great because it makes the room more fun, and it means that Akka can spend more time on certain attack styles, which means more often than not you're getting a lot more damage out, because you kinda, unless you have a shadow, you don't want to be maging Akka much, which is ironic because that's all I do when I butterfly. And it keeps butterfly going for longer, but when you're not butterflying, you want to melee and range him as much as you can. If you're having troubles logging in, try resetting your client. Or try logging into a different world, an Australian world. My server's not down. I'm logged in on both accounts on Australian worlds. Stay Vigilant could be could enable you to get the room done a lot faster because you're able to get off more range and melee damage. Stay Vigilant is free. Stay Vigilant is 15 invocation points. You just have to be good at switching. You have to be onto it because sometimes he just keeps on flicking and flicking and flicking, which does get annoying. But I really enjoy that challenge as well, which is why it's going to be a B tier invocation. Stay Vigilant. This is the pedophile song, Sea Shanty 2. Good. Feeling Special. No, Double Trouble first, sorry. Double Trouble, which is 2 special attacks at once. Honestly, requires a lot of coordination. It is 20 points. It's kind of free, provided you pay attention. I'm going to make it C tier because it can also wipe a team very quickly. If you're solo, you're sweet. You don't have to worry. You just have to remember that every time that someone says, you're also going to have the black phase with the balls. You don't want that. But outside of that, in a team, you can wipe a team pretty quickly, which is why it's C tier. And Feeling Special is the one that speeds up the Simon Says Memory Blast. Yes, 2 ticks between blasts. Trailing orb attack spawns extra orbs in front of you. And Akka's dead. Basically, it speeds up all 3 of his special attacks for 20 points. Honestly, I think it's way better. I think Feeling Special, once you learn Feeling Special, it becomes an A tier invocation because it is free and it's... If you go back to not Feeling Special, you'll probably get yourself killed because you'll start clicking too quick. On a side note, what are your ideas and views on ship PvP? I think let's do the tier list first. Then we can talk about other things. How's that sound? That's my invocations for Akka. Because now we're going to do Bubba. Let me just drop my fish. Okay, Bubba. We all love Bubba, especially that puzzle room, hey? They really took advantage of the skilling side of this raid with one entire fucking skilling mechanic and nothing else. Okay, we have Mind... No, we don't. We have Jungle Japes, yep. Then we have everything else is 10 invocations, so it doesn't matter. Jungle Japes. The baboons drop bananas on the floor. It's a free 5 points, to be honest. It's B. There's nothing else to explain. Don't stand on bananas. You played Mario Kart, you know what you're doing. Gotta have faith. Is... every blast of the sarcophagus in Bubba's room will deal additional damage based on the player's remaining prayer points. I didn't even know that existed, and I have it on all the time. That's a pretty A tier invocation because it's simple. Don't open the sarcophagus. You don't have to worry about it. It's 3 points. Shaking things up. Bubba's Slam will do 3 5x5 damage instead. Okay? Shaking things up makes Bubba's Slam attack bigger, makes it slower, means you have bigger time to react to it, and it's 10 points. That makes this invocation S tier. Okay? Because if you don't use this invocation, Bubba just becomes infinitely harder for absolutely no reason. Then you've got, where am I looking? Mind the Gap. Mind the Gap can kill you very quickly. You have to remember Mind the Gap is on. I have tile markers through the middle of the room so that I know Mind the Gap's on. That way I don't fall into the hole. Sometimes you slip and you fall into the clunge. And it's for 10 points. I would only put it on like 300 invocations plus. If I'm doing like a 200 or less than that, there's no real need to put Mind the Gap on. Because you'll make up the points easily elsewhere with much easier invocations. I think Mind the Gap is a C tier invocation. It could be better, but it's only 10 points. It kills a lot of people for an invocation that's only worth 10 points. If it was worth 20, great. But I think it kills too many people for what it's worth. Then you have Boulder Dash. The boulders, when he throws the poopy balls at you, come down twice as fast. I have 0 issues with this. For some reason, people can't get the timing right. That's just how you are, I guess. Some people can't move as quick as me, and I get that because I'm the best at the game. To me, Boulder Dash is pretty free. I can skip with Boulder Dash. I can skip with a Bofo with Boulder Dash. I have 0 issues doing it. Boulder Dash is A tier. Almost no effort. It's more XP as well. It's a free 10 points. 0 issues. Now we have Wardens. Wardens, Wardens, and Wardens. This is where it gets a little controversial, I think. What are the numbers worth? Everything is worth 10 points in Wardens, except Insanity is worth 50 points. So I guess we start off with Ancient Haste, which is during the first phase of the Warden's fight, the Wardens will charge at a faster rate. I'm going to be honest with you guys, if you don't, like when you're doing this raid, if you're doing a normal raid, you should absolutely have every single Warden's invocation on except Insanity. Because the fight is boring as fuck without them. Wardens, I'm gonna say it. Wardens is the worst of the 3 raids when it comes to the final bosses. Olm and Verzik, especially Verzik, are infinitely better designed, more fun and more engaging than Wardens. Ever will be. The Verzik fight is incredible. High pace. There's a lot more going on and there's a lot more to do. Olm is some of the best content in the game, especially when soloing it. Olm is so smart and so competitive. Wardens, right, left, middle, right, left, middle, skulls, right, left, middle, skulls. It's kind of crap. And then you get to the end and your T-Bow noodles, you get fucked and you wipe the whole raid because Jagex's idea for this raid was, well, a lot of damage means hard raid means good content, right? Because they don't understand how their own fucking Theatre of Blood raid works. I think for that purpose alone, if you don't have up to Overclock 2 on, maybe we can leave penetration out. You need to have penetration on, don't you? No, it doesn't matter. You just have to have them all on. Penetration's a questionable one. Penetration can wipe a team. I think that's a pretty deadly one, because what this does, it will disable your prayers if an obelisk hits you. Obelisk attack hits you, you will disable your prayers, and then you're smited for like a good second, and you can actually die and wipe. So penetration is actually going to be B tier. Because for 10 points, that can absolutely wipe you or your team. But everything else, Ancient Haste is S tier. And it's S tier on the grounds that if you didn't have it on, the fight at the end is shit. I think the balance with Overclock 2 is good because Wardens is still forgiving at this stage. Before Insanity, it's still very forgiving. And if you don't have Insanity on, you are getting the KC. If you do a 300 invocation raid, you don't have Insanity enabled, you make it to Wardens, you're getting the KC. 100%. There's no way you're failing it. Insanity can cost you the raid. It absolutely can, especially if your T-Bow noodles, your Shadow noodles, or if you don't even have either of them in the Bofa noodles. Insanity is worth 50 points though. It's a big, big boy. I think Insanity is A tier. Because it is not necessary once you hit 300, until you go over 300, even 350. It does make the fight more fun. But it can also absolutely wipe you off the map towards the end of the fight and cost the whole raid. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my tier list for the ToA invocations. I think S tier is Walk the Path, Deadly Prayers, Shaking Things Up, Ancient Haste, Acceleration, Overclocked, and Overclocked 2. A tier, Softcore Run, Pathfinder, Pathmaster, On a Diet, Blowing Mud, Arterial Spray, Feeling Special, Gotta Have Faith, Boulder Dash, Insanity. B tier, Hardcore Run, Pathseeker, Dehydration, Lively Larvae, More Overlords, Blood Thinners, Not Just Ahead, Stay Vigilant, Jungle Japes, and Penetration. C tier is No Help Needed, Double Trouble, and Mind the Clunge. D tier, Aerial Assault and Upset Stomach. D tier, basically S to C tier, there's the invocations you should use to make up your raids. You should use C to S, even B to S really. If you're trying to do a 300 invocation raid, make it up between B to S. Okay? Even C to S if you wanted to. D tier, you only use the D tier invocations if you are looking to push 400 pluses. If you're looking to go for the Kefri or the Zebak pet transmog. E tier, these are really only, you would only consider these doing a 500. I don't see the need to use these invocations outside of that. You might not even use them in a 500. But you should not be considering them below 450. There is no need to. And then you have F tier. Everything in F tier is shit. Try again. Persistence. All of the time invocations. Medic. And keep back. The bigger the team with keep back, the bigger the problem you're going to have. Now, keep back's not a problem if you just butterfly the whole thing. Don't get me wrong. But the invocation is shit. It's worth 10 points. All of these invocations are bad, and you don't ever need to use them. That is my final opinion, my hot take. If you don't like what I have to say, I really don't care, because my opinion is correct. Thank you. Like and subscribe, all that gay shit. Now we're gonna play some RuneScape. This is the easiest room in the raid. It's quite simple. You got a big boy. Look at him. God damn. Fuck me. Look at that boy. It's huge.